Since a few months, I was on a waitlist to gain early access to a specific software which I was hoping to increase my productivity. And since 2 to 3 weeks, I gained early access. I need to tell you something. It did not only met my expectations, it even outperformed them by 3 times more. And I did not expect it to happen, especially not to triple my productivity in this sense. And some of you might already know from which software I'm talking about here. And I'm talking about Cortex, created by Dan Koh. And since using Cortex for 2 to 3 weeks, I multiplied my writing skills by a minimum of 3x. And honestly, I can't stop writing. My hands are like moving over the keyboard non-stop, and ideas seamlessly flow into my brain. It's not like one specific function, it's all of that together. And I get in such a writing and idea generation flow, like one idea after another just like keeps sparking into my mind. And I mean, honestly, how can you have a great idea without consuming great ideas? And that's what makes Cortex so much easier and better. And yeah, Cortex does makes consuming and creating content easier in any sense. So it does clearly change my life in a short period of time. In the past, it was so hard for me to write any newsletters in general, or like write in general specifically. And honestly, now I publish one every third day, and I finish every newsletter in 1 or 2 days of writing, and then the third day before publishing, so I just check through it. And each newsletter I write feels like the best one I've ever written, and then the next one surpasses it again. So if you're interested in reading them, the link is down below, and feel free to join my newsletter. And yeah, let's kick off this video, and I want to make a really short showcase about like Cortex in general. And everything you have is like in the community inside, but I will get into more detail in a bit. So first of all, what I would like to explain and showcase you, first of all, I would like to showcase Milanote first, and my second brain structure in Milanote. So since Cortex was released, and I don't know, some people of you might watch the videos before, I changed my entire second brain structure. So in the past, I was just using Milanote, which is the software, and I had a lot of videos about it. And then I have Notion, which is my project management database and habit tracker whatsoever. And Milanote is mainly for visual connection, second brain, collecting and creating ideas. It could be from my phone, YouTube, iPad, Reels. It could be cooking ideas and whatsoever. Then I have Notion for that case, where I implement the ideas from Milanote into Notion. And then I have the database where I collect all my YouTube uploaded videos, do the project management, which video needs to get uploaded. And then I also have my habit tracker, what I'm doing every single day and whatsoever. And then Cortex was released, and I included Cortex. It took me a while to understand the system fully, and I also did like 1 or 2 weeks of education for that purpose. But since I honestly use Cortex and understand the system behind it, like my writing skills improved as I mentioned before, insane. So Cortex became my writing second brain, where I also collect ideas and notes, but in a different perspective. So I get more notes and ideas from Readwise, books, paper, and Apple Notes. And all of them I put into Cortex is more for writing purposes and content creation purposes, like newsletter and everything else. And then from there on, I convert my YouTube video scripts, ideas into social media posts, and also into Notion for longer videos like YouTube here. And Milanote is still collecting and creating ideas, but for all random stuff. That can be funny stuff, and also can collect ideas first in Milanote and then send it to Cortex later on. But I want to keep Cortex specifically good for writing. Okay, so let's dive into Cortex and a short explanation in general. So currently they don't have a web function, not a web function, like an app function. But yeah, so I want to briefly go over it. So starting off first is my newsletter, but first of all, they have a library function. I don't want to get any detail because Dan Koh created an entire second brain course for free and everything in his community. I'm not sponsored or anything. I already sent him in the community how good I think about Cortex and how amazing the software is and how much it changed my writing skills. And library is perfect for like getting ideas from his book, from different books, and everything from Readwise. I'm not like logged in this computer, but everything ideas I create from writing, watching specific YouTube videos, and have the highlight, they are getting into the library and into Cortex. And from there on, I can capture ideas like here, and then you can also capture them with hashtags and connections, which is more advanced and everything. Credits to Denko. And honestly, if you're really interested to get and understand Cortex fully, watch his multiple courses to explain Cortex, watch his YouTube videos and whatsoever. But I want to briefly go over how I'm writing, for example, my specific newsletters and what it really did a big change for me. So we are having here one of the newsletters which just got published out this week, and it has a specific hierarchy. The hierarchy is here. I start mostly with collecting the idea of the newsletter. This template, this system is from Denko. He shares a lot of templates and also everything in his community. So I copied them and then I got the ideas from him, which is good. And honestly, I use them now every single day. Before that, I didn't really use them or not because I didn't understand them. But the more we write, the better we become. And the system is quite simple, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into too much detail. He's explaining everything in his courses. But then from there on, I put a draft and I write a draft. Then on the right side, you can open a pane, which is like a second monitor in some ways, like a second screen in one way. That's the reason I'm having like a triple monitor setup. And Cortex does that. You know, it actually changes there as well, because I have Cortex open there. Okay, never mind. So we have the draft here. So I write a draft fully in flow with some caffeine and everything. I set connections. This, for example, is a connection to the library, to one of the books I've read, and it's from the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Then write the entire newsletter. That's the draft, for example. Oops. And while doing that, I can check in the boxes. I'm writing in flow, and it's like, okay, when I have an idea while writing, I put it down on the right, and then like think later, okay, how do I actually implement it into the newsletter? And then at the end, I do my stuff, everything, and then I publish the newsletter after I correct them in ChatGPT. And then from the draft, it gets into ChatGPT, the complexity in personal assistance and why you should create them. So if you're interested, read this newsletter. Link is down below in the description. And from there on, ChatGPT corrects my grammar and everything. Yeah, it's just grammar. And then I read for it again, and then I do changes again if I don't like the writing skills, writing from ChatGPT. But I tell it, please keep my writing and only change my grammar mistakes. And ChatGPT is still doing mistakes. I correct them, and then I publish them in ConvertKit, or they call it now Kit in general. Yeah, that's ConvertKit. And from there on, I put it again in ChatGPT. So I put it again into ChatGPT, and then it creates social posts for me, which I post on LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Instagram, and everything else. And then I also have a short format scripts, and then these ones are created based on my ChatGPT prompts. And yeah, that is most of it. And for the new newsletter, or for the next one which is coming out in, did I actually publish this already? Maybe I did already publish it. Never mind. And that is the other newsletter, and that's the next newsletter I was writing today. You need to go on a walk. Maybe I change the title and thumbnail. That is it. We can also close it. And then I also create another draft again, write this newsletter, open that was the wrong one. Open this again in a pane on the other side, and I can, while writing, I do the notes again, as I mentioned before, and then while writing, sometimes it's like, oh wow, this sounds amazing, and then I just like create a social post out of it and use like an atomic note. I think they call it atomic note, and then it's a social post, so I can copy it and put it right into my thing. And everything of that can be also searched inside of Cortex, and that is really a game changer. We can search for open capture, we can create author, send feedbacks, we can find our hashtags, our notes, our connections, everything. And it does really change a lot while writing. Yeah, don't want to get into too much detail, but yeah, that is pretty much how I'm currently using Cortex and the second brain. As mentioned before, and I also linked down Cortex, and if you sign up for the early access, you also get into his newsletter, then you get early access to Cortex, then you get Cortex, and you can also join the community where you get the second brain courses and everything, which are for free, which I did only to find that, and it honestly changed my life, especially my writing skills. And yeah, if you're interested, there's no affiliation, there's no sponsor, link is down below to Cortex and Denko's community. I think if you're watching this video, you're probably familiar with Denko, so yeah. Hopefully this video was kind of helping you in some ways. Is there anything, if I was talking too fast, if something was not really understandable, please write it down and give me some feedback. Don't just dislike this video, give me constructive feedback to make my videos better. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed or you want to subscribe to my newsletter, last chance, link is down below, and see you guys in my next video. Bye.